I grew up around chronic illness, not the kind that comes and goes, but the kind that lingers, defines dinner conversations, and quietly shapes families' expectations. It seemed like everyone believed that illness was inevitable and that diagnosis was destiny, and we didn't have the power to change it. But at the same time, I was training as an athlete. Every day, I was learning how to fuel, how to recover, how to push my limits and track progress. And I couldn't reconcile how our culture and our health systems weren't applying those same systems and principles for everyone. That tension planted a seed. What if the tools for healing weren't locked inside of institutions? What if they were already in our hands? That question changed everything. Because when I identified what gave me a sense of purpose, I realized something radical. I could design systems for myself. I didn't need permission to heal. The tools, rituals, relationships, and I could build the lifestyle that supported the life I actually wanted. And so can you. Let's zoom out. We're living longer than any generation in human history. But according to McKinsey's Health Institute, those extra years aren't necessarily better. They estimate humanity could add 45 billion extra years of higher quality life. That's about 6 good years per person. Throughout this next decade, if we focused on prevention and well-being instead of reaction and disease. Yet too often, those additional years are spent in decline, battling issues like metabolic disorder, cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative disorders, and cancer. And the biggest factors that can impact these diseases, they're not mysteries. According to numerous epidemiological studies, lifestyle behaviors are estimated to influence up to 70% of the incidence of chronic disease, highlighting that prevention is largely within our control. It's how we eat and drink, how we move, how we sleep, how we manage our stress, and the quality of our relationships. In other words, it's lifestyle and not luck. But the systems we rely on are designed for sick care, not healthcare. Now, I'm not suggesting that we don't need doctors. And in fact, medical care is making incredible progress. But it's optimized to treat disease, not to prevent it. And when we wait for those systems to address the things that we can control, we surrender our agency. I reject that premise because every day you generate more data about your body through your phone, through your watch, through your habits than your doctor could ever collect in an annual visit. That data belongs to you. It's the story of your health written in real time. There's a line from James Clear that I love. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. And we all have goals to be fit, calm, healthy, strong at 80. But goals are fragile. Systems are what carry you when motivation fades. When I first started designing my own system, I began small, tracking workouts, sleep, nutrition, and over time I added additional biomarkers like blood sugar and body weight and cardio function. It enabled me to notice patterns, how late night scrolling ruined recovery, how stress could change everything. And once I saw those patterns, I could design around them. And research backs this up. A global meta-analysis found that wearable fitness trackers significantly increase daily activity levels. And Deloitte reports that 6 in 10 US households now own a wearable device, with nearly 70% saying their health improved because of it. So the tools are here, but so are the traps. We live in an attention economy engineered to keep us hooked. Algorithmic feeds, junk food, toxic relationships, the endless scroll. These things erode our health silently. So you must protect your inputs. Cull what drains you: content, foods, substances, even relationships. Curate what nourishes you. Then build scaffolding, make healthy actions visible, easy, and rewarding, and anchor them to routines you already do. Morning stretch after brushing your teeth, gratitude practice before bed, and surround yourself with communities that help you rise together and not compete for ego. When your system is stronger than your willpower, you win, even on your hard days. So why track your health? Because the raw data are silent, but the patterns speak. When you track, you learn. When you learn, you can predict. And when you can predict, you can prevent. A recent national survey found that one third of American adults who own a wearable now use it on a regular basis. But most report that if they could share that information with a healthcare professional to improve their care, they would, and only 25% have. So there's a massive untapped potential. And researchers are showing what happens when data is used well. For example, Oura Ring detected physiological shifts up to 2.5 days before people reported COVID, long before traditional diagnosis would ever catch it. And one inflammatory bowel disease study predicted flare-ups weeks in advance. Think about that. By simply wearing a device that tracks your heart or your sleep, you're generating real-world evidence, filling the gaps that traditional healthcare can't see in between doctor's visits. And we're getting access to more biomarkers through wearables and consumer products every single year. Let me give you a human example. A friend of mine, let's call her Maya, was constantly exhausted. She thought it was just stress. And then she noticed that her deep sleep had dropped to under 20 minutes a night. She started experimenting. No caffeine after noon, stretching before bed, blue light filters. Within weeks, her deep sleep jumped to 2 hours. Her energy transformed. No prescription, just awareness and adjustment. That's the power of feedback. It's how you turn your data into transformation. And here's the bigger story. Every time someone like Maya tracks and shares that insight anonymously and securely, the algorithm gets smarter. Your individual story becomes collective intelligence. That's how we bend the curve, not just for one person, but for everyone. Now imagine where this is going. Imagine a personal operating system for your health, like the glasses, the ring, and the watch that I'm wearing. One that knows your rhythms, your goals, your biology. It wakes you up with light calibrated to your circadian rhythm. It cues a song when your stress spikes. It suggests movement breaks before posture triggers pain. It effortlessly tracks what you eat and guides you to foods optimized for your goals. It gamifies progress customized to you, rewarding you for alignment and not perfection. It protects your privacy, and it teaches you to master yourself until eventually you don't need it. 20 years ago, no one imagined that a single device could be your phone, your GPS, your wallet, your camera, and your computer. Now, 90% of people in developed countries have one in their pocket. And when IBM's Deep Blue beat chess master Garry Kasparov in 1997, everyone thought the game was over. Instead, it exploded in popularity. Why? Because the machine didn't kill the game. It democratized mastery. That's exactly what's happening in health. As AI and wearables learn from exabytes of data, they make personalized, high-performance health guidance, customized for you, for everyone, not just the privileged few. We are not waiting for the systems to catch up. We are building it from the bottom up, with every tracked heartbeat, every measured night of sleep, every small act of stewardship. So here we are, more empowered than ever to take charge of our health, yet more distracted than ever by the noise pulling us off course. But the arc of innovation is bending towards you, towards tools that help you focus, defend your attention, and align your life with what truly matters. And your role in this is beautifully simple. Track, align, contribute. Track your health, because what gets measured gets managed. Align your systems with your purpose. Those systems will catch you when life gets hard. And contribute, because your data, your story, your example fuels the science that shapes what comes next. You don't need their permission to heal, but when you do, when you take ownership, when you share your insight, when you live in alignment, you give the rest of us something far greater. Proof that a healthier future is possible. Thank you.